what we are doesn't need to search for itself because it already is what it is. Yet there can be this search, this spiritual search. We don't deny that, but it's almost that we see through that idea of a me that's seeking, that's looking for its true nature. The one that feels like it's lost and limited and isn't already whole and complete is just how the mind sort of narrates a story of the human experience. But it isn't what we are yet. There's some authority applied to those thoughts as if the mind is the ultimate truth and it needs to be taken as what we are. So it's just really how what we are can experience itself through form, thought forms, emotional waves, but it never becomes them. It never becomes this one, that the mind narrates. It never becomes a little me that's lost. And there are emotions, there are thoughts, but they don't belong to the me because the me doesn't exist. We can't be a thought. We can't be an idea about what we are. We've got to be that knows the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the something that's underlying, something that's always there, that doesn't forget itself, that's always home. So there's something that's aware of the thoughts, something that's aware of all of the human experience, something that doesn't come and go. There can be these movements of how what we are can experience itself are taken to be who we are, this individual, because the mind narrates about them. But there's chance to see that what we are remains always, that we can't leave what we are. So the way I often point to our true nature is just to, realize we're not getting anything. All we're doing is looking at what's already here, what's already the case. So it's a matter of relaxing, really. Not a doing, not a getting, not a finding, but a relaxing into what's already here. So we can open our focus rather than sort of narrow down in thought. So there's this vast, open, broad view now, rather than the narrow view. And then there's this sense we can just rest back in the body. As if we've done a long journey, we've arrived home. And in those moments, we don't need to do anything. We're just recognizing that we're home already. That there could have been all these movements, but now we're home. So there's a resting back and an opening of the focus. And then sometimes we feel like we're located in the head, our sense of self. So we can just drop our attention down, 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 maybe to the heart center, just noticing the breath. And also maybe noticing the contact points of the body in the chair and the feet on the ground. Just the direct experience of them. So the mind has a tendency to create a story about what's happening. So we don't need to refer to that. We're just directly experiencing what's here. Just the contact points. Just the sensations. Just the sounds in the room. There's something that's aware of it all. That's fundamental. That doesn't come and go. It's not journeying. It's always home. And so we can just have a little feel of into our formless nature that can experience itself through form. So there's the area inside of the body. We just notice that. The sort of spaciousness. We don't need the mind to comment on it. We're just noticing. Just the area inside of the body. And then we can notice the area outside of the body, the spaciousness outside. Just explore that, just noticing. But can we find where the area inside of the body and the area outside actually meet? Not by going to concepts and ideas, just in that direct experience, that knowing of just what's here prior to thoughts. Is there actually a boundary in the felt sense of being between the area inside and the area outside? Or is there just space? Can we actually find where we end without creating a story about the body and identification? Without those layers, just resting as what we are, you may notice that what you are is unbound, totally free, doesn't have a boundary. We can't find where it ends. We don't ignore the physical form, but we're not bound by it. Our fundamental nature is formless, totally free. You may notice it's impersonal. Again, don't worry, we don't need to go to thoughts to try and work anything out. If you don't notice that, it doesn't matter. Just effortlessly being what we are. Nothing to work out. Just resting as what we are. Formless, total freedom. Unbound and timeless. Totally effortless to be what you are. It's not somebody resting as their true nature. There's just true nature. Any idea of trying to work this out are just thoughts appearing in true nature, in what you are. So, how could you leave what you are right now? Or even forget yourself? When we look plainly, without that filter of a mind, made me, a point of view, a story maker. Can you leave what you are? Where would you go? You must be what you are already. And then there's thoughts of not being, not knowing what you are, or feeling limited appearing in this. But we can never find that one that they belong to. The one that is looking for true nature, or to maintain true nature, or deepen true nature, all just experiences appearing in this. So we're having a look at what's fundamental, what doesn't forget itself, what doesn't journey but can experience itself as journeying. But it doesn't leave home, it doesn't go anywhere, there's nowhere to go. It's only ever this, just this. This is what we fundamentally are, our true nature. So it's just to firmly establish, it's what you are, but just to really know what you are, I feel is the most important thing. Because then you can have this falling asleep, and you can even have the identification. It doesn't matter, because you know what you are, and you can just look at that and think, oh, how interesting. There was just this experience of forgetting and identification layered onto it. Wow. But you know what you are, so it has no weight, it has no angst in it, it has no density to it. It's just seen as what you are, can experience that, but it never becomes that, never becomes a separate self of me. It can't leave what it is, the wholeness. But it can experience itself as separation, as division, but it never divides itself. Because there's nothing else but this here. There's just this. Whenever we look, it reveals itself as just this. And then the mind will create division. It'll, label everything and create a subject object. But when we don't do that, when we remain from this open view, we've got a clearer picture of what's happening. The adoption of a narrow lens of a separate self-me isn't being experienced. And if it is, it doesn't matter. Because you're still totally free. Never not this.